Hey, I wonder if you can touch on a little bit how Penn State in general has gone about building this Canadian recruiting pipeline. And for you specifically, how important was it to have exposure to the program from a very young age? Because obviously we've seen you at camps for years and years.
Right. I would say, it's great what they're doing, recruiting up north and everything like that. There's a lot of unrecognized talent up north, where I'm from. And it's just a great thing to see that gradually every year, we're seeing a couple more Canadians come by. And yeah, no, it's great to see.
Joe Giuliano, Philadelphia Inquirer.
Good afternoon, Jonathan. Thanks for your time today. Jesse Lucchetta was saying last week that you guys had an adventure coming back from Canada, having to wait at the border and all. What was that day like for you? How long was the day? And was there any concern that they wouldn't let you in?
I wouldn't say there was really much concern because prior, to arriving at the border, we called the U.S. Embassy. We called the Border Patrol. We called everyone and made sure that we were good to clear. But yeah, the day consisted pretty much being in the car the whole day. But we got here nice and safely. So.
Tyler Donahue, Lions 247.
Hey, Jonathan, good to speak with you this afternoon. Wanted to turn attention to that safety room. Trent Gordon moving in, how does he factor in? Why do you think he's a good fit for the position? And then Jaquan Brisker, year number 2. What do you think were the biggest developments for him making that leap from junior college to Penn State in 2019?
Yeah, as far as Trent, I feel like he'll bring a lot to the room, having played corner. He's real familiar with the secondary already. And with Brisker, coming from JUCO, he did a really good job last year, of getting the playbook down. And that definitely allowed him to play a lot faster.
Audrey Snyder with The Athletic.
Hey, Jonathan, thanks for your time. I wanted to ask you about, I know some of the guys are going over to State High and working out, a lot of quarterbacks, receivers type of stuff. What are you guys doing without a football right now? Are you at State High? How are you kind of going about that?
So for the most part, our voluntary workouts are being taken place at Lash right now. I know a few guys have been going to like a couple of local fields or whatnot during the weekends and our off days to get extra work. But yeah.
Rich Garcella, Reading Eagle.
Hi, Jonathan. Thank you for doing this. Can you describe what the voluntary workouts are like? And secondly, what are your chief concerns when it comes to COVID and playing football?
Yeah, so the voluntary workouts right now, they've been really good. We've been getting a lot of weight room work, a lot of field work, a lot of agilities, conditioning and whatnot. And as far as the concerns, I mean, as of right, like here at Penn State, we're doing a great job. Our staff is doing a great job of keeping us safe, and all the players are really on the same page. But as far as playing football, we can take care of our end, but at the end of the day, when it comes to competing against other people, we can't control what other people do. So we can keep safe ourselves, but at the end of the day, the concern comes in because we can't control what our competitors are doing. So.
Tobias Wilborn, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
Jonathan, during the time when you were quarantined, what were some of the things you had to maybe adapt to nutritionally that you didn't when you didn't have access to the training table?
Yeah, I would say for the most part, like during the summer, every single summer that I've been here, I've meal prepped my own food. So it kind of wasn't really a shock going into this quarantine, but, just making sure that I stayed on top of my meals, getting 3 great meals a day with, healthy snacks in between, and especially staying hydrated was really important.
Next question is, well, Donnie's not here. Let's go to John Sauber with the Center Daily Times.
Hey, Jonathan, did you have any reservations about coming back to Penn State? And do you have any reservations about playing this season with, the fact that, like you said, you can't really control what your opponents are doing, how they're staying healthy?
I'm back at Penn State right now.
No, but when you came back, did you have any reservations about coming back?
Oh, I mean, yeah, for sure. Like everything was there was no really set date at one point. The news was changing every single day with this COVID and COVID cases and all that. But, once we got a um, confirmation on when we can come back, yeah, I started making reservations, and Jesse and I ended up coming back as soon as we could.
Let's go to Mark Wogenrich, SI.com. Sorry, Mark. You there now?
Yeah, I'm here. Hey,
All right.
Jonathan, thanks for doing this again. If you can't play, what would that mean to you personally? Or if you have to play in the spring, would you be willing to do something like that?
I mean, yeah, if the season doesn't end up happening, obviously, like not even for me, like the whole team, we put in so much work year in out, and not being able to play it'd be horrible, because that hard work kind of went into nothing. But as far as the season occurring in the spring, if that's what we have to do, then that's what we're gonna have to adapt to do. So.
Next is Jack Washer, WTAJ.
Jonathan, from your own personal experiences, why has Canada been able to kind of crush, the curve, and the U.S. kind of continue to see cases spike up? What was that like for you quarantining in Canada?
Yeah, I feel like in Canada there's just a lot more restrictions. Like masks are pretty much mandatory. Schooling has been canceled, and everything's virtually online. Like they already made the announcement that university and schools won't be returning in the fall or whatnot. And yeah, just pretty much, I guess the regulations were a little bit more strict, and I guess we can see that with the results that are coming in right now. It's very low.
All right, we'll go back to the top of the list. If you don't have a question the second time around, just say pass, please. Mark Brennan, Fight Out State.
Jonathan, I wonder if you could tell us a bit about two guys in your room that we really haven't seen, Tyler Rudolph and, whatever you've seen of Enzo Jennings so far.
Yeah, I'm real excited for Tyler. He's been working this whole off season, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do. And Enzo Jennings as well. It was kind of hard not to, actually see him and evaluate him because we didn't have spring ball. But he's really athletic, and he's just coming into grips with getting the playbook down now. So I'm excited to see what those two have to offer if we go into training camp this summer.
Joe Giuliano, Philadelphia Inquirer.
Jonathan, you mentioned earlier about things you can't control when it comes to COVID. You guys can only take care of what you can do. But you've seen other programs across the country having to suspend workouts because their guys tested positive. Does that give you any pause that if there is actual game action against an opponent that, that things are going to be risky for you guys to catch the virus?
Yeah, I mean, just this past week, North Carolina had to suspend all voluntary workouts, and like you said, like if we continue to go out and actually play the season, who knows what that may look like if a team can't control their COVID cases, and then they might have to forfeit. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. We're just gonna have to see because it's changing day by day. So we'll just see what happens. But yeah.
Tyler Donahue, Lions 247.
Going back to the success that Penn State has had recruiting top Canadian players, a couple more coming in with Theo and Malik in this most recent class, and more down the road. What do you think that kind of speaks to young Canadian football players who are very impressionable right now, maybe wondering if they're going to have a route to play American college football? Do you think there's a chance that Penn State can kind of become a bit of a bandwagon program for a lot of those younger Canadian kids who are looking up to guys like you and Jesse and the other names I mentioned?
Yeah, no doubt. I feel like the more Canadians we bring in, the more inspiration and hope, motivation we give to a bunch of the Canadian talent back at home. So, I most definitely, I think that is definitely a possibility for sure.
Next up is Audrey Snyder with The Athletic.
Jonathan, when you guys are training together, my understanding is you're kind of grouped with the same people, whether that's the people you live with and that type of thing. How big is that group of people that you're with right now, and is it other safeties that you're with, or who is that?
Currently, I'm living with Journey Brown. So we're partnered up in the weight room or whatnot, and we're in the same lift groups, running groups, and all that. But yeah, for the most part, like you said, people who are living together or whatnot off campus are typically going to be working together.
Have you guys gotten on each other's nerves yet with all this much time together?
Nah, I wouldn't say. I mean, we were kind of separated for a long time, so it was a good. It's a good thing to be back and everything, So I wouldn't say that. No.
Rich Garcella, Reading Eagle.
Jonathan, from what you've seen at the workouts and what you feel, how long do you think it will take to get into game shape? Not just you, but from what you've seen from other guys.
For what I've seen so far, like basically everyone I've come into contact or seen as of right now is in great shape right now. Because although we weren't working out, although we didn't have spring ball, guys were still at home and they were still working out. They were still they were still working. So I definitely seen that when I came back here. But I would say like just 3-4 weeks of continuing to do the voluntary workouts, and we'll be just fine because they're really pushing us. So
let's go to Nubias Wilborn with the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
Last week, Jesse told us how he worked out with Carrie Underwood and some hockey players. Have you worked out with anybody cool like that, or that we want to know about?
Now, I was for the most part just working out with my younger brother and a couple local guys in my area. I wasn't trying to come into contact with too many people.
Next up is John Sauber with his Center Daily Times.
Jonathan, how do you sort of view your role as a leader in the safety room now that Garrett Taylor has moved on and you're one of the senior leader, or one of the older leaders, I should say, in the room?
Yeah, I would say just leading by example, showing the young guys how to approach each workout, how to approach each practice, how to approach our playbook, just the things, what not to do and things to do, and just leading by example, I would say for sure.
Next up is Mark Wogan-Rich with SportsIllustrated.com.
Jonathan, you mentioned the strength staff pushing you in the voluntary workouts. In what ways have they tried to do that, and how do you think maybe you are better, fitter or in better shape over these last 3 weeks?
Yeah, I would say, with all the time that we lost, we've been doing a lot of running and lifting, in the same days. We'd typically go in, we'll lift, and then we'll go for a nice little run, whether that's agility, straight line speed, always conditioning at the end too. So they've been pushing us from that aspect, yeah.
Jack Washer, WTAJ.
Jonathan, what are the conversations like with your teammates in regards to, with everything going on for the fight for racial equality and social justice, maybe during the year, continuing that conversation while also, still focusing on playing football?
Yeah, I think our team's done a great job of that. We've had many Zoom meetings throughout the past couple of months, actually, where I would say more than 2/3 of the team, got together to discuss what's going on in our country or whatnot. We have guys from all different cultures, all different ethnicities on the team. So it's a conversation that, needs to be had and has been had. And we've had great dialogue with one another, expressing the concerns, expressing how one may be feeling or whatnot, and what we can do to overall, educate ourselves and just try to fight this racial inequality that's going on in this country.
All right, we'll go through the list one more time. Again, if you don't have a question, just say pass, please. Mark Brennan, Fight On State.
Jonathan, along those lines, the situation that happened last year with that goofy letter, what did it mean to you to have everybody rally around you, and how beneficial do you think that was to the team at that point, given where we are now?
Yeah, I feel like, the support I got from my teammates and everyone in this organization was great. I didn't feel alone at all. I felt like everyone had my back and everyone was willing to fight for me. And yeah, it was real supporting. I appreciated it for sure.
Joe Giuliano, Philadelphia Inquirer.
Jonathan, I was just wondering, after you got back to campus, how long did you have to isolate, and how great was it for you to see the guys again after you finally got a chance to see them?
When I first came back, I had to isolate for like a week or whatnot, and then it was great seeing a bunch of the guys. Honestly, like throughout the year, I'm surrounded by them every single day, and this was the first time like ever that I've been separated from them more than like 2-3 months. So it was great to see them back.
Tyler Donahue, Lions 247.
Jonathan, one more name I don't think we've talked about in the safety room, Lamont Wade. A lot of progress it seems he made last season as a junior. What are your expectations for Lamont going into his final year in a Nittany Lions uniform?
Yeah, obviously, the expectations are high. I've seen him work. He's a worker, he's a grinder. He's real focused, and he perfects his craft and whatnot. So I'm excited to see all the work that he's been putting in this offseason, actually go to play this season. Really excited about it.
Audrey Snyder, The Athletic.
Jonathan, what's maybe the best part of living with Journey, and what's maybe the worst part about living with him?
Worst part, he doesn't do his dishes. But the best part, that's my boy. I've been living with him since freshman year, and yeah, it's my guy.
Rich Garcella, Reading Eagle.
Jonathan, can you discuss or describe what your sense of urgency is for this season? Is this sort of like are you at a crossroads, for your career to take off?
Can you repeat the question again?
I said, can you describe your sense of urgency for this season? You've played a lot on special teams. You've played a lot mostly as a backup in the secondary. Is this sort of like a year that you hope to take off? Meaning take off to have a big year?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, that's why I come in and work every single day. I push myself so I can have the best season possible and contribute to the team in whatever way I can this year. So, it's with all this with COVID and everything going on, and potentially us not having a season, like that, that it ultimately sucks, but we're just going to take it day by day because no one knows anything for sure as of right now. So.
Tobias Wilborn, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
What has it been about Coach Franklin that has made it, I guess, comfortable or more comfortable for you guys to have tough conversations about race and society as a whole? How has he and the coaching staff made it more open for you guys to speak out publicly?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Coach Franklin and his staff, like, they do a great job, of being open and having those tough conversations with us. Like I said before, we've had Zoom meetings with more than 2/3 of the team joining on just so we can talk about these issues going on. And I don't think a lot of programs in the country have done that. So that's just one example out of the many of our coaches, being great role models and allowing us to have these conversations that need to be had.
Let's go to John Sauber with the Center Daily Times.
Jonathan, we've all seen the possibility that the season could get moved to the spring. Are you concerned at all about having to play possibly in the spring and then another season a few months later in the fall?
I don't think I really looked too deep into it as of yet. As of right now, we're still working like we're going to be playing in the fall. But, I mean, if there's no season in the fall, then the spring, like, it needs to happen in the spring. And then we'll just take it day by day after that to see what happens next fall. So,
Mark Wogenrich, SI.com.
Jonathan, if I could ask, whatever happened to that letter you received last fall?
Oh, I still got it.
Is there a reason that you kept it?
Yeah, I would just say, just like, honestly, like when I first read the letter or whatnot, it was upsetting and everything, but it just like, I feel like just having it as a reminder kind of just reminds me of like all the support all the support that I got behind my back, and how much we, as a society, need to progress in the right direction, I would say.
And our last question goes to Jack Washer, WTAJ.
Right, Jonathan, you and Journey are going at each other at 100 miles an hour, and you both collide. Who gets the worst of that brawn?
Hey, now, that takes me back to freshman year when we used to scrimmage and go in the Lions Den almost every single day together. Journey's got me a couple times. I've definitely got him a couple times. I would say it's pretty evenly matched, but nah, that's my boy.